Okay, folks, looks like we are live on building generational wealth. I'm pretty fired up about that. I hope you are too. And I see we got a bunch of viewers, which is amazing. So if you're here, man, could you do me a favor while I got it going on here? Just let me know where you're checking in from real quick. We got a couple viewers in the chat. That would be awesome. Tonight, we're going to do a different little session. What I wanted to do was make up for missing the 10-minute tips and having to reschedule that. When I had gone into the group, I saw that a few people had already shared that or commented or seen it and might have been anticipating that. And so I had some things come up, so I felt bad for not being able to provide that for you guys today. So I figured we'd come back with a different session tonight and just go over some different topics and some different things and sort of replace that missing value, if you will. So tonight's session is going to be real simple. Let me go ahead and, well, I don't need to worry about recording it. Well, actually, let me double check because I might need to go ahead and record that. Nope, we're good. So yeah, so that being said, let me go ahead and jump into some stuff tonight. I just wanted to cover a wide range of things and really just sort of talk a little bit about Forex, a little bit about what we're doing with the community, a little bit of stuff that we got going on with the team, like just a little bit of stuff, right? And just give you guys a little bit of an insight. And I think that would definitely give you guys some value. I know there's a lot of people. This group is growing on its own. I'm super proud of those of you in the group and especially Jiz for really helping this group grow. I know Ingrid and Jason have also been participating as well in terms of helping this group expand and giving us a bigger audience to be able to get this information out. By the way, if you guys don't have one, this is a silver ounce. Starting to collect that, so I recommend that you guys do as well. Collect a little bit of silver. I actually have a big order of silver coming in, and I'm excited about that as well, right? Also want to talk to you guys tonight probably about picking up some crypto, some things like that, just to be able to help you guys. I know we have some people who are really knowledgeable about that, and it's always exciting to expand our conversations. It's really interesting because, you know, I think back to 2010 and what I was doing, and had I ever heard of Bitcoin, and I had heard of Bitcoin, I had even heard Bitcoin was a good investment, but I didn't have an investor mindset at that time. I was really almost anti free markets. I was all about free enterprise and entrepreneurship and putting my eggs in that space, so to speak. That's going to go off occasionally, folks, because we are here making money in the markets as well. So give me 1 second. We'll go ahead and minimize that, get that out of there. So anyway, and just looking back, and I realize now that if I would have had $500 at the time and I would have been able to buy Bitcoin at that time, that it'd be worth roughly $500 million or so. And just the idea of missing out on such an easy transaction because I didn't have a wealth community that was actively around me, that was actively involved, having discussions, was actively involved doing stuff. You know, it's one thing to sit around and sort of intellectually pontificate on an idea, or it's another thing altogether to be around people that can not only intellectually stimulate you, but can execute on an idea. And that's one of the things that's really beautiful about our community is like, for instance, in this particular, I know I just turned it off. I'm sorry, guys. I know I just turned it off. In this particular community, for instance, in technical terms, I would be Jiz Clerk's upline, right? In terms of this, in terms of I brought someone into this community who then turned around and brought Jiz into this community, etc. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, he's been involved in that space a lot longer. So I'm able to turn around and listen to his insight and his wisdom as to what's going on with crypto, right? And that's just been just a true blessing. Just seeing, he told me about Ripple almost a year ago, and I just started picking up some in the recent last couple months versus having started stacking it a year ago. And so just having people who have those conversations, we got another gentleman, Matt Levy, who's been a good friend of mine, who has personally been flipping homes for the last couple of years. And now he's also into the multifamily space. And so to be able to have those conversations, and then of course with Randy and Wanda Webb and their extensive real estate background, to be able to talk to them about that type of stuff is just a really cool space to be in, right? To be able to talk to them about tax liens and going to tax lien auctions and how to go about that. To be able to use some of my background in terms of title and closing, because my mother used to own a title and closing company, and to be able to see what to do on that end of things. And we really just have like a whole network of people. I started off by showing you the precious metals and those who are involved in building that type of asset, right? That hard money asset. And so, and then we talk about crypto, and then we talk about so many other things. We have Dr. Jewel Tankard and Dr. Kathy Kirkland, who I believe even Jiz has shared some of their content into the groups here, and their extensive knowledge, especially Dr. Jewel, not only in real estate development, but also things like investing in oil and oil wells, and just listen, the whole kinds of conversations that we have are just truly amazing. What to do with taxes and how that impacts our lives, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm fired up about that community. Want to be able to share some of that value back to you guys today, and hopefully you guys get some benefit from those conversations and from some of that information. So what I want to show you today is just simply the idea of what we're really doing. We start our conversation as a Forex conversation, and it is about Forex. Give me 1 second, folks. We started as a Forex conversation, but I want you to understand that Forex is not just the end all be all, right? That's not the only thing that we're doing. And so I know for a fact, or at least I believe, that a lot of you all will have different things that you want to do. Maybe it's a food truck. Maybe you want to open a restaurant. Maybe you have a desire for a nonprofit, or a woman's shelter, or maybe you want to go and you're from the Caribbean and you want to be able to go back home and be able to help the community there. People have so many ideas. Maybe you have a bigger, grander vision of something in the tech space, and you don't want to have to go and completely depend on angel investors, or maybe you don't mind using venture capital, VC, or angel investors, but you don't even have the money to get the basic stuff started. And so by creating a cash cow is what Forex allows us to do, is to be able to create a cash cow that we can now take that cash and deploy it into other areas, which will also continue to multiply our income. And so that's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to show a couple different things. I will go ahead and show you a little bit about what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, which is on the 10-minute tips, and that is your position size. No, I'll probably wait for that. But I will talk to you a little bit about just how we can compound our money and how we can do some stuff in order to make it a cash cow. I'm not going to harbor on that or belabor that, because we've talked about it before, okay? And since we've talked about it before, it is one of the most important conversations, but I want to go ahead and jump onto something else. So let's start with this. What I want to show you guys real quick is essentially HFX, okay? I'm just going to run through just a few things to give you guys value, because I want to be able to show you some things that'll help you understand how not so difficult the foreign exchange market can be if you are able to get educated on what's going on. So I shared my screen here, and I'm going to take you to a site here. All of you guys can do this. If you're watching on replay, you can do this. There's something called pocketoption.com. Now you can come here to Pocket Option, and this right here is a binary option site. But what I like about Pocket Options is that what it does is it allows you to create a demo account for free. So most of the binary option sites do allow for a demo site creation, but it's usually after you have funded live money into the account. And so what I like about Pocket Options here is that you don't have to do that. You can actually just register and create a demo account. And then literally, let's just show an example here. Let me just go ahead and put the highest amount it'll let you trade on demo real quick, which is $1,000, right? That's the largest position size it'll allow you to take. But let me just show you, I'm doing no analysis here, right? So if I were to go ahead, what I love about this is you can really practice. So I just went ahead and put 25 trades on just a whim. I don't even know. They might hit, they might not, right? But let's say I just kind of zeroed out my account and I wanted to start over, is that if those trades don't go into profit, right now they are, but if they didn't go into profit and I lost all my money, I could go ahead and I could just refresh my demo. I don't have to re-register, create a new account. I don't have to do any of that type of thing. I literally could just refresh my demo and then bam, the money would be available again. Oh, I just happened to win a lot of money. No, I lost. Actually, good. I lost. So I actually went down. So so I lost most of those trades, which is good. So I would be able to now go here and watch this. If I wanted to click on here, now I can actually, again, top out my account. I could top out my account all the way up to the $10,000 mark roughly, and I could be able to start again. So you see that right there? I topped it out, and now I have a $10,000 balance, which I can start my demo account all over. And what I like about that is that some days you'll recognize when you're in demo that you might be trading more aggressively than you normally would, right? For instance, I just put in a bunch of trades simultaneously. What if I actually believe those trades would hit, right? And I went ahead and I entered 3 trades instead of the normal trade that I would get. Well, my account would compound faster, and it would give me a false impression of how fast I can move my money and how fast I could grow my account, because I'm not trading it with the same psychology that I would trade it if I was trading my real money, because I'm being a little more liberal, a little more loose because it's a demo account. So at times, I recognize that in myself as I'm practicing a new strategy or I'm practicing something that I want to implement. And so I take it out of my live account and take it to demo account in order to get a feel for how it works. But sometimes I'll recognize that. And then what I want to do is not count those previous results and sort of reset and go back into it with sort of the same mindset that I would have as a real trader. And that's really the importance. You can never truly duplicate the mental experience of putting a trade in with live money, but your goal is to replicate it as much as possible, okay? To replicate it as much as possible, to come as close to that as possible. It's very similar, like I believe the NBA playoffs started right now, okay? And this year is probably different than most. There's no fans, there's no home crowd. They're in this place in Orlando, right? But everybody knows that when playoff time comes, the intensity rises, right? The pressure rises, the mental stakes of the game rise every round that you advance in the playoffs. So the coach's responsibility is to try his best in practice to be able to mentally give the type of reps that people would have in game time, to try to create a game time feel so that when their team goes to the actual game, they're not completely underwater, so to speak, right? And so that's what we're doing with our demo accounts here. And that's why it's important for you to do your best to take your demo account as serious as possible. But on those occasions, when you have a day or two where you realize, hey, man, I just got a little crazy with this, you also have the ability with pocket options to be able to reset it so that you can come back. All right. So here's what I want everybody to be able to do. If you are watching this right now, it costs you nothing but literally typing in the word pocketoption.com and registering for free to create a demo account. If we're going to have a real financial literacy conversation, we need to have a real conversation. And that conversation suggests, right, that we need to start taking action. We need to begin to execute. One second. We need to be able to have a conversation, and that conversation's got to revolve around the idea of being able to execute, okay? And so here's what happens. You can literally come in here, and you could literally have taken some of the other videos that I've done on the 10-minute tip series, and you could come here and you can begin to apply some of the indicators, some of the other stuff, and you can begin to practice with this stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you that I'm not giving you but a surface level on those 10-minute tips because we don't have time to do a deep dive, but you can begin the practice of executing. You can begin the process of starting. So many times we don't start, right? We get analysis paralysis. We say things like, I'll do it if I see you make some money. Have you ever heard that? Has anybody ever said that? I'll do it if I see you make some money first. Forget the fact that maybe the person that's introducing you to the concept can personally introduce you to hundreds of people who are making money, but you're there saying, I need to see that one person make money. Basically, what that's saying is you don't believe in the concept, and that's just a nice way of you letting your friend down. It's so much easier if you just tell your friend, hey, listen, I'm not interested. This is not for me. Or it's so much easier for you to say to yourself, I am interested, but I'm scared I might lose my money. Are there some solutions that are in place? Are there some ideas? Is there a game plan where you can help me mitigate my fear, my concerns, and my risks? Rather than just being there and just saying, yeah, I'll do it when you make some money. Because guess what? You'll never do it when they make some money. Because what happens is if all of a sudden Matt turns around and makes 100,000, that's not going to motivate you to get started. You've never been motivated by Matt's money. If that was the case, you would be flipping houses just like Matt. Never been motivated by Matt's money. So why would you be motivated now? Matt's not spending any of his money on you, right? So why does the income that he creates for his household matter? What matters is, do you need a skill set for your household? And the only question you should have of Matt, of Jiz, of Jason, of Ingrid, of myself, and all those other things is two questions. Number one, can you show me people that have tremendous fruit on their tree that are willing to help me? And number two is, will you help me reach my goals? Will you help me reach my goals? My goal isn't to help my upline reach their goals. My upline's goal is to help me reach my goals. And the same thing comes in this trading space, and the same thing comes in the building space, is that you have to ask the right questions. So as far as executing, getting back to pocket options, look at all of the things that this site allows you to do, which are super, super cool. Look at all this stuff, right? Let's talk about it. Number one, you notice here that I'm trading Alcoa Inc. OTC. And if I go ahead and I click on this button, you'll notice that it gives me a lot of different options that I could trade, hence pocket options, right? So in this case, I could be trading Apple, I could be trading Google, I could be trading HP, I could be trading all of these different blue chip stocks. Now, yesterday I saw an article on Forex Factory. If you guys don't know what that is, I'll show it to you real quick. This is a news site that is available, forexfactory.com. And what it does is it's giving you news updates on what's pertinent and important in the world of finance and Forex, the type of articles, discussions that could potentially move the marketplace. What I love about it is they've also color coded it for you. So a red folder is something of extreme importance that could create massive volatility in the market. An orange folder is of medium importance, and these little yellow folders are not very important at all. Now over here, they also have a calendar section. Now watch this. You come on down here, today was Wednesday. So it told us all day that the OPEC meetings were going on. And then as we move into Thursday, you'll see that there's a few orange folders for CAD, which is the Canadian dollar, and for us, the US dollar. It has a few folders here. Okay, the rest of the day is pretty light. So this lets us know that except for a very small window of time, there shouldn't be tremendous market volatility unless we have some major news comes out. Donald Trump tweets, all of a sudden something happens with what's going on with Beijing in the United States. You know, there could be something that happens in the trade war. There could be I remember last year in May, I had just put in a trade in oil, and literally like 3 minutes after I put in the trade, there was the attack on the oil tankers on the oil field or whatever in Saudi Arabia, and my trade went haywire in seconds, right? So you can come back here and find out what's going on news-wise, because usually it's the news that creates an impulse. An impulse is a massive, quick, violent movement in one direction of the market, and usually that is driven by news. And so over here, we look and we say tomorrow, especially for a new trader, might be a day where we say, hey, I don't necessarily want to enter the market until after the New York session opens, which is 9:30 p.m. or 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So I might not want to enter the market. Why? Because I have all of this EU. I look at all of these folders that are going to create massive volatility in the market, and I might not be able to be as successful because the market will probably be moving very quickly at that time. So when we come back over here, we see that we have here all of these different stocks. And on Forex Factory, I saw an article about Robinhood and how their new valuation on their seed round put their company valued at $11 billion. And what I find so interesting about that is there's so many of us right now participating in Robinhood. I go in, I'm buying some stocks, I'm holding, I'm doing fractional shares. There are a couple of people that are smart enough to be day trading off of it, but they're not really doing a lot of the analysis. They're just sort of trading the hot stock trends at the moment. And so they're not really setting themselves up for successful day trading because they're not analyzing charts. They're not doing stuff. They're really just gambling right now. But the other thing that people are doing is they're getting in here and they're coming in and they're buying Apple. So let's look at Apple right now. So Apple is at $462 currently trading as we speak. And so what a lot of people are doing is they're saying, hey, listen, I don't have the money to buy stocks. So what I'll do is I'll just throw $20 on Apple. Then over the course of, you know, if I'm doing $20 a month, if I'm doing $20 a week, however long that process takes, eventually I'll own one share of Apple. And if I keep doing that, eventually over the course of my life, I'll own several shares of Apple. Now, what you're hoping then is that Apple goes from this 463 mark to 920 and then eventually to 1800. You're hoping that it doubles several times over a 30 or 40 year period of your life so that that stock has value as you get older, right? And some of you guys are smart enough to know about dividend payouts and all that other stuff. But here's what I'm talking about, the general person, right? They're hoping that that stock has value when they get older. They can now liquidate that stock at the higher value, and it's sort of acted as a savings account that's compounded for them over time and made them some money. It frustrates me to no end to know that, because I know that that same person can come with their $20 a week. They could save up for a month, put $80 into pocket options, and they can literally begin to trade Apple stock, and they could make money every single day over and over and over again on the fluctuations, to the point where they could make enough money in 2 or 3 days to be able to purchase a share of Apple stock, and make enough money a couple of days long to purchase a share. I'm not against buying the stock. What I'm saying is stock is such a long play, and most of us have such short money that we need a short play in order to increase our money so that we have the capital to play a real play in terms of a long-term gain in the stock market or some other types of different markets around the world. And so this right here would give you the opportunity to do that. Now, how does that work? Well, if I was here and I'm just doing a hypothetical here, folks, okay? If I was here and I'm looking at Apple and I think Apple's going to drop in price, I can go ahead and place a trade. Now, what I just did is I entered what's called a strike price. I struck the trade. You see this down arrow right here? That means sell, and the green arrow means buy. I said I'm going to sell right here because I believe that within 1 minute's time, you see the M1 right there, that price will be below the area where I traded, right? Where I struck my price. And right now, I have 42 seconds, 40 seconds left on that trade. And if that trade continues to do what it's doing, I will win. In this case, on my $800, I'll have won $640. Now, imagine that. I put one trade and I earned enough on that one trade to not only buy one share of stock, but also leave myself a couple $100 in profit to allow my account to continue to compound. Let me say that again. In 1 minute, I earned enough to buy one share of stock for the company that I'm interested in, as that trade you see down here in the bottom just hit, paying me out $1,440. You can see that I initially had $10,000 and now I've made $640 in profit. I could now literally go in here, understanding that the market is going to pull back down to this 200 line, and I could literally come in here and I could buy a share of Apple at 462, maybe even a little lower. I could set a pending order, buy a share of Apple with my profits, and still have compounded my account by $200 on that one trade, allowing me over time to be able to trade a higher position, which will allow me to compound more money faster in order to buy more shares of stock. I hope y'all caught that nugget. I just did it live right in front of you. I actually just traded Apple. This is Apple stock. I traded it right in front of you. Apple was paying currently at that time 80%. So for every dollar that I risked, if I won the trade, I made 80 cents. Now, here's the thing. Some of you all are worried about, will I go broke? I'm so nervous about trading. What will I do if I lose all my money? If you understand your risk to reward, if you understand your risk, and you're only trading 1 or 2% of your account balance on any given trade, how can you lose all your money? The other thing is that these trades that we teach you are usually between 1 to 3 minutes, which means you will know whether or not your trade has hit take profit or you lost the trade within 1 to 3 minutes. Now, we do have an HFX account on another broker that provides a rollover, which then gives you the option, if you see your trade, you still believe in it, you still have confidence, but for whatever reason, it's not setting up as quickly as you'd like, you can actually, by putting in another 30% of whatever your was. So if I put in $1, that means I put in an extra 30 cents on it. It allows me to roll over my trade for another 3 minutes, an additional 3 minutes. And the most I'll do that is twice. So the most any trade that I take on HFX takes me to be able to recognize whether or not I'm going to profit or not is 9 minutes. Okay. Now here's the other beautiful part on HFX. If I'm trading 1% or 2% at a time, if I ever lose 5% in any given session, I stop trading. And for me, that would mean I would stop trading for the entire day. So that right there should give any of you people that are new, any of the new people, the opportunity to look at that and say, I can have confidence that I'm not going to blow my account. I mean, statistically speaking, the odds of you actually going and losing 100 trades in a row are incredible, right? You're not going to blow your account. And more importantly, you're going to be able to have guidance from the academy, and you're going to be able to have guidance from traders who have already been trading. And more importantly, you're going to have guidance from 7-figure traders who you can literally go in and you can mimic their trades. So what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, if I was on a live session with one of our traders, let's just log in real quick and show you. If I was on a live session with one of our traders, I go here, I go down to my Go Live session. I go to my academy, which is HFX. Actually, I have all the academies, but if I was on a live session with any one of these traders, this is Curtis, right? Yeah. If I was on the session now with Curtis, now watch, I'm going to click this, and I'm not going to leave it on long because of the proprietary stuff. I don't want to get, that's their, the educational academies information here, but let's just show you real quick. If I was on live.
Started, right? I don't know what we need is, but that's where we at. We need started yet. All right, guys.
So here he is.
I'll go ahead and get this going in a second.
He's actually a crypto educator for us. And what I want to be able to show you is that if he was on this call, he might say, hey, listen, let's take this trade. I'm going in on this trade. And you have the option to take that trade with him. Now, he's a successful crypto trader, okay? Let's go back and actually go into the HFX Academy. If I go into HFX Academy, I can come in here. Matthew Thayer, this gentleman right here, literally just made $2 million in front of our faces a week or two ago on a live session where he put in a trade, lost the first one, traded the second one, and actually that trade brought him over the $2 million mark. Now, just the other day, Randy and Wanda Webb had him on to show people how to do HFX, and it was streamed live on Facebook, and he literally made $33,000 in 4 minutes right in front of everybody's face. Now, if they're doing it in front of your face, I don't know what to tell you, but it's real and it's easy. And so what happens here, and I don't want to say easy, I don't want to misrepresent, forgive me for saying it that way. But the idea of being able to follow an up and down arrow is easy. That was last week. Let's see here, 16. Let's go here. This was last week's session. And this was one of the sessions where he was calling trades out. And this is literally live in the academy. You can go back and watch these things. My internet must be running super slow today. But he'll come on here and he'll be in a session and you'll be able to see him. I'm sorry, I should have set it up for you guys ahead of time.
Try to take trades that you might not understand what we're looking for or what we're trying to do.
Here he is.
Don't feel like you have to take every single one. Don't feel like you have to force trades.
He's giving you advice.
Is to look at the market, trust the analysis, and just take the trades.
Trust the analysis, take the trades. The reason why he's telling you that is because he realizes that we're not going to do much. Look at this right here. He put in a trade and he's just letting you know what's going on. These are the trades that he's taking himself. Okay? The trades that he's taking himself, that he's risking his own money at.
So I'm just anticipating here, guys, that I can see the flow of the market kind of.
So super dope on those sessions. Again, and so here's the thing. What I want to show you real quick is a couple other things. Right here, I want you to be able to see how to use this so that if you ever want to come in here and use this and practice, when you click that button there, you can literally trade to currencies, cryptocurrencies. You can trade commodities like gold, silver, crude, etc. All right. You can come over here. You can trade currency, different currency pairs. Right here, it will show you what's going on in terms of the payouts. We recommend really nothing below 70, but we really look to trade pairs with 80% payout or above. And so these payouts will fluctuate throughout the day, usually in the broker's favor, right? They're in the business to make money too. So they're going to give you pairs that are not so far in currency strength that it's an easy trade on your behalf, but we have ways to help you make the trades easier. So if I wanted to come here and I wanted to get a 70% pair, I could trade AUD CAD. You notice here I have USD JPY, and that one is starred. Okay, if I wanted to star another one like EUR GBP, I just click that and you notice that it comes up here. And that's the beautiful thing, because if I want to quickly switch between pairs, I can literally just do that right up there. Okay, you see that? I can literally just switch between the pairs right there. You come here, and this will allow you to put on some of the indicators that we've talked about before. We did one on the Bollinger Bands. We've never done one on the Ikimoku Cloud, but we probably will at some point. Moving averages, RSI, etc. There's different indicators that you could put on that will help you make an analysis. That's where you would be able to get that. Now, if you want to be able to mark up your charts like you would on a normal Forex pair, you can come here and click that. I just did one on the Fibonacci retracement. I just did a session on that on 10-minute tips. There it is right there. If you wanted to sort of put support and resistance lines in place, you can just do that there, and you notice you'll be able to move this line up and down. Okay, you can change the color, you can change the width, you can do all kinds of things. So if I wanted that line to be bright pink, I could do that. If I wanted it to be a little thicker, I could do that. And then I could go ahead and mark up my zones if I needed that to help give me some visual clues. Okay, you have all kinds of options that you can do right here from this site, and you can practice using these tools to help you make analysis so that you can get better, so that you can always have the skill of being able to go into the market and turn $1 into $5. And so this is a really cool starting place in terms of pocket options. Now, what's really cool about this session when I talk to you about Matt Thayer is that this go live here is cool because it also comes with something else. See, Matt Thayer is trading his strategy, okay? And on his strategy, we have a section in our academy which goes with strategies. So if we have a guy like Matt Thayer who started an account with $500 and grew it to $2 million in front of us over 2.5 years, okay? I want you to all hear that. Over 2.5 years. Is it okay that I say that? Is it okay that I tell you up front that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it is? What I mean by that is it is, because where else do you really go to take $500 to $2 million in 2.5 years by growing it every day and compounding it every day? Okay, that is actually a very fast time to accumulate wealth, but we're not talking about you being able to do something overnight. If it took him 4.5 years to accomplish the same goal, was it worth it? Absolutely, especially because he's been paying himself out over the time that he's been trading. He's been taking withdrawals over the time that he's been trading. So he's actually made more money in the market than $2 million, right? But what happens is he's been paying himself out, taking withdrawals out. He's been growing his wealth to over $2 million of liquidity in the market, okay? And so if it took you longer than that to do it, would it be okay? Absolutely, absolutely. But when you start the process of compounding, which I've showed you before, it literally means that as long as you're willing to see the course, then you're going to get the result because it's based off math. Now, what happens is a guy like Matt Thayer, over the course of trading so many sessions, over 300 sessions, right, in the last 2.5 years, he has recognized some patterns because the market moves in patterns, and those pattern recognition has helped him develop a strategy which has led him to be successful. How successful? Well, over that time, his goal was always 8% per session. Sometimes he hit it, sometimes he didn't. Sometimes he lost, sometimes he didn't. Over the course of the time, he averaged out those sessions, and it took him 18 months to 2 years, somewhere around that time. I can't remember the exact number, but he went from that $500 to over 7 figures by getting 2.3% per session. Folks, is that realistic? For those of you who are sitting there on the fence, I know maybe some of you are thinking I need to make money super fast, but what have you done over, like, how fast did the last 2 years go? Like in my life, the last 2 years has flown by. The last 5 years, like my daughter's 5, I can't even believe it. It feels like she was literally born yesterday. And so if I would have just started trading on the day that she was born and I got 2% in an account, I put $500 and I got 2% a day. Do you know the amount of wealth that I would have already created over that 5 years? 1.5%. So let's say I started with $100 and the first day I made $1.50, right? So this is incredible. So we have guys like that who have their strategies and they'll share them with us. And what that does is it allows us to go into our HFX Academy and we can click on his strategy. Now watch this. This is the part that's beautiful, folks. Is let's just say that you become decent as a trader, but you don't become exceptional. That's possible. There are people that have a talent for something that you don't have. Is that fair enough to say? I think it is. Okay. But how difficult would it be if we were being honest with ourselves to learn, say, 4 steps? To literally learn 4 steps. To be able to go in and say, I don't know if you can see it, but right here is a red arrow that's pointing down. Now you notice on this currency pair, EUR/USD, which is the euro versus the United States dollar, we're on the 5-minute time frame. And when that candle came out, that arrow came out at the same time. So that came out at 8:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. And at that time, it told you to sell. Now, if all you did was just trade this candle, you would hit 50 to 60% of the time, okay? And if you wanted to increase your win ratio, there's some other things that you could do. So the first step is to recognize the candle. You recognize the candle, look at that. That right there would have put you in profit. You would have made money in the last 4 minutes on that trade alone, okay? The second step is we like to use what's called a currency strength meter. Now, what this meter does, and I've done done something on this as well, shows you which currency pair is stronger at the moment. So if we look back here, it said EUR/USD. It called a sell. If we look, EUR is strong, but the dollar is just a little bit stronger. You see how it has one more tick on there? And so the first currency pair, if it's stronger, then in general, price is moving upwards. If the second currency pair is stronger, then in general, price is moving in a sell. So EUR/USD, you were able to take that. Because USD was stronger, it gave you a second confirmation that the arrow, the previous arrow, was calling the right trade, okay? Now you're saying, but Andre, it's stronger now, but now it's calling me an up arrow. That has to do with these things called Bollinger Bands, which we talked about before. Price is now outside of the Bollinger Band. As you can see, price likes to stay within the Bollinger Band, okay? Price likes to stay within those bands. So now that price has gone out of the band, price has a tendency to want to come back in, even if the other currency pair is a lot stronger, okay? Even if the other currency, why is my screen not working? Even if the other currency pair is a lot stronger. I don't know why that's not working. All right, here we go. So you see here, price is in the bands. Let's pick a different color. Hold on a second, folks. Sorry. All right, there we go. Let's pick a weird color here, orange. So you see, price likes to stay in the band, in between those bands, right? This being the edge of one band, this being the edge of the other. So you see, price has moved outside of the band. So the natural inclination is it wants to come up. So even though the USD was stronger, those two currency pairs were relatively close. So the cash trap called an up arrow at the 5-minute mark, okay? You'll notice that it does this for all the different currency pairs, that not all of them, but the pairs that are associated with cash trap, it will call those things. So right here, it called a sell, okay? You see a down arrow, right? We see a down arrow, right? And you can begin to see that, and then you can correlate it with currency strength. There's some other things that will increase the probability of success. I'll leave those to the academy and the success of the educators and their strategy. I don't want to give that all away, but I'm just showing you how simple that can simply be. It's just follow an up or down arrow. If you're not really super excited about the HFX side of things, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, because you don't have to count pips and no stop losses and all that types of stuff, you can come over here. And we have other programs that are just as simple. We have something called the DeLorean. This is another strategy, really super incredible strategy that literally, look at this. Again, what are we talking about? We're talking about following an arrow, right? We're talking about the simple step of actually just following an arrow, a down arrow, okay, in order to be able to see an entry or a possible setup in the market, all right? What I love about this is that most of our strategies also have, when we go back, okay, when we go back to our Go Live section, most of our strategies also, most of our strategies in the Go Live section also have, you notice that we have it broken down by academy, okay? But we also have it broken down by strategy. These are the different strategies. So if we clicked on DeLorean, there's actually, these are the educators for DeLorean. And if we go on here and we pick someone like Patrick Kinney, and we come to his sessions, if we go to his favorite sessions, look at what happens. He's giving you a full-on 5-day boot camp to be able to explain to you exactly how the indicator that he and Tyrone Foster invented works. Okay? So if you ended up going through here and getting this 5.5 hours worth of education, would it be fair to say that you would probably have a good understanding if it's coming to you from the person who invented the indicator, the strategy itself, and they're telling you exactly how it works? Would it be fair to suggest that you have a good enough understanding to be able to take an up or a down arrow? Okay? So just like anything in life, right, we have to participate in our own rescue. So it does help your chances to succeed in the market if you're willing to do a little bit of education, okay? If you have no desire to educate yourself financially, then first of all, I don't believe that's true, because you wouldn't be in this group if that was the case, right? I just don't believe that to be true. You wouldn't be in this group if that was the case, all right? But if you had no desire to educate yourself financially, I can't help you there, because you know, I don't understand that. So I just don't. So with that being said, that just gives you a little background on that. So coming back over here to our HFX, okay? When I talked to you about it being easier, all right? What I want you to understand here is exactly how easy it is. Here, let's go in for a buy right here on this currency pair, USD JPY. I haven't done any analysis. I just see that it's outside of my band, okay? So I want to show you. Right here, I have what's called a strike price. Right here, you see this little green line right here. That's my strike price. And it doesn't show up too well here, but you'll get the idea here. Let me see if I can get it to show up a little better. There's my strike price. And what's great about HFX, right, is that as long as the price closes above my strike price, okay? So as long as it closes above my strike price, so as long as it closes just even one, what we call pipette, it only has to be one pipette. I think it's 2 P's, but you get the point. One pipette. So what that would be in this case, if the price was 106.200, and I went in for a buy, which I just won again, by the way, folks. I just won again right in front of you. 106.200, and my price got to 106.201, okay? As long as it's got to 201, then that means I won the trade. It didn't even move up a whole pip, right? If it ended up being 106.200, it's a push, and my money just goes right back into my account. So this is a really, really great way to trade, because you don't have to count stop losses. You don't have to do that type of stuff. All you have to do is be able to visually follow an up and down arrow, check your currency strength meter, 1 or 2 other steps, and you can enter the trade. And the faster and the more that you take to educate yourself, you can begin to recognize a lot of those things. And all you need to do is quickly judge the up and down arrow to make a decision on whether or not to enter, because you've already sort of pre-done those things. Because why? Because let's say that it called an up or down arrow on a currency pair, but that currency pair was paying out 50%. We're not going to be taking that trade anyway. So we're going to focus in on the 1 or 2 things that are currently being called by Cash Trap right now, the only one would be USD JPY that Cash Trap calls. We can focus in on that currency pair, which means we can be making sure that our currency strength is up to date. We can do all those types of stuff. And when the arrow comes out, bam, we can execute the trade because we've taken the other steps into consideration and we can make the trade quickly. All right. Absolutely phenomenal, folks. Absolutely phenomenal. So I started, you saw that, right? I started by refreshing my account back to $10,000. And through the course of this time, most of the time is me running my mouth, but over the course of this time, I took 2 trades that totaled about 3 minutes in total. And I grew my account on demo. This is my demo account because I'm showing it to you guys right here, from $10,000 to $11,200. Okay. That would be on 2 trades, a significant increase of my account. Okay. 12%. 12% growth in one quick session, which means I would be shutting down for the day saying, hey, listen, I've already grown my account. I've hit my 8% goal. I wouldn't take any more trades today. Why? Because I'm not going to give the opportunity for the market to take the money back. So because I understand this, and I want you guys to really, really, if you're watching this and if you've made it through this far with me, you've stuck with me an hour, come over here to this site. Get this site down in your head, thecompounddaily.org, so you can see what it is that we are really doing here. What is it that we are really, really doing? Because if I come over here and I start with as little as $100 and I were to get 8% per session, and I were to do that for 3 sessions a week, let's say that 3 sessions a week. So that means that my total weekly growth was 24. And I did that for a year. My $100 would turn into $720,000, folks. Now, is that likely? Probably not, because we're not probably going to get 8% per session, as easy as that was tonight. Okay, there's going to be nights when we don't. But what about this? What was if we ended up getting 3% per session, 2% per session, 5% per session, right? What if we just took this down and we did 4 sessions a week? We didn't want to overtrade. 4 sessions, we got 12% account growth, okay, per week. All of a sudden, our $100 is $36,000. Folks, could you spend 30 minutes 4 times a week to grow your account by 3% in order to grow $100 into $36,000? Now, I want you to understand something, right? This isn't me. This is math, okay? On the first day or the first week, I just grew my account $12 in the course of a week. That's it. I just grew $12. That's all I grew, $12 for a week. How many of y'all, your wives, your spouses are going to be, why are you spending so much time watching those videos? You could be helping me with the kids. You could be doing all that stuff. All you did was grow 12%, $12. The next week, it was only $13 and only $15. And all you did is when you hit this mark, $16 for the week, you crossed it off and you were done. And you came back the next week. You got your $18. You came back and you crossed it off. And you continued to go down this chart week after week after week. Is there any hype involved in that? Is there any hype that I'm doing here? I'm following the chart. I'm taking the appropriate trade at 1 or 2% of my account. So if I had $112 at the end of day 1, what I would do is I would take a trade for $1.12. The next day, 1% trade. And I would trade that until I got my profit, excuse me, I said at the end of day 1, I meant week 1. And I would do the same thing, and I would continue to grow my account that way, taking 1%, maybe 2% trade risk. Okay, if I'm really, really hyper confident in a trade, I might go 3%, but that's it. And growing my account, and then I'm gonna take it all the way down. Excuse me 1 second, folks. Let me go ahead and delete that. I'm gonna take it all the way down, and I'm gonna go over the course of 52 weeks. to the point where I'm down here. Now, what I like to suggest to you guys is that at what point in your life would this side money per week be beneficial? At what point would it be life-changing? Some of you guys are on here, you might be making 6 figures in this group already. Some of y'all are highly successful. But at some point, to have some side money growing in the market is something that becomes really, really beneficial. Is it $500 a week extra that becomes your hot button? Is it $1,000 a week extra in the market that becomes your hot button? Whatever it is, you can begin to get in here, and there's a price in here that gets you excited. And what I want you to do is say, let's get to that price, but let's do it responsibly by learning how to trade using our demo account and coming in here and growing it at a reasonable rate of return, something that you could have confidence that could actually take place and that you could do yourself. That you could do yourself. Because right now we know the banks are trading our money. The banks trade your money every night in the foreign exchange market. Right now we know that if you were to ask most people about their 401k, all they could tell you, and not even everybody can tell you this, by the way, but all they would be able to tell you is who manages their 401k. Is it Merrill Lynch? Is it, whatever companies that are out there, right? But they don't know who's managing their money. I want y'all to really think about that. We get so excited about the 401k process. Our company is matching 5%, or my company matches this kind of money, and that's all great. But then what happens is we take the money out of our check before we even see it, and we give it to a 401k. Average 401k return is somewhere like around 6% per year. Some of them don't even return that. I just showed you how to get 12% in a week with just a few hours of your own. This is 6% per year. Now, do they have different stipulations? Yes, they're trading other people's money. They have to diversify their risk more. They can't just go all in on USD JPY, right? There's different things and different factors. But I want you to understand the business model of the 401k is not to grow your wealth. That is not their business model. That's why they always tell you how much funds under management they have. See, the business model for them is to give you enough to collect your fees for managing your wealth. That's their business model. If you made too much wealth, you'd probably leave after a while. They're there to collect your fees. Then you have the other thing that takes out money before you even see it, which is called taxes. Taxes. Why do they do that? Because they realize that you won't pay it. They realize you won't pay it unless they take it out. It's one of the greatest tricks they've ever pulled on us as employees. Well, I'm not an employee, but you know what I'm saying, right? Those of us who have been employed before, is they take the money out before you have a chance to use it for your own benefit. They get it first. And so you're looking at these two forms of income. On top of that, they pay out your health insurance and the other stuff that you have to pay out, Social Security, etc. What happens? All of a sudden, before you even get your money, most of your money is gone. So not only does our community teach you how to trade and how for you to go in and have the responsibility to do this yourself, just like we would advise our kids. You ever had a kid do a group project or something like that, and then someone doesn't do something and the grade comes back and you're like, hey, why didn't you jump in and take care of it yourself? Why don't you do it yourself? We teach our kids to do this stuff, and then we don't expect it to be done for us. Like we completely devoid ourselves of the stuff. We tell our kids, don't hang around with a certain group of people, because if you do, you'll end up just like them. But then we hang around with a certain group of people who are just like us, which is okay, but it doesn't allow us to grow. We don't end up having conversations. We don't put ourselves in environments for growth or for success. We put ourselves in a comfort zone, right? And so this is amazing, all of this types of stuff that you can learn over here. And what happens is, besides the growing here, is that we also have the opportunity for you to become a business owner, for you to unlock residual income. Residual income. Only 1% of people earn that. We also have discussions about silver. We also have the discussions, like I said before, about crypto. We also have all these different types of things going on. around you so that you can begin to diversify, you can begin to take some control over this, and you can get better returns than what you're currently getting on your money. And you can do it yourself. You can literally do it yourself. And you don't have to spend that much time doing it. Okay? Everything that I've talked to you about, besides entrepreneurship, and we can go into I can go on for hours talking about entrepreneurship and the bricks of the free enterprise system and how we can build businesses and all that, because I used to lecture at that in colleges and universities. We can talk about that. We can go in on that. But all of this stuff about markets, I didn't know about the compound interest calculator. I didn't know about what I'm going to teach tomorrow, which is the position lot size. I'd never heard of a Fibonacci. I didn't know anything about currency strength. I didn't know about Forex Factory. I didn't even know what the Dow consisted of. I just knew that it involved stocks. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff all the way up until my 43rd year of life. Now, that's my fault. Some of you guys already have a head start, but what you're trying to do is trying to figure it all out by yourself. And what I'm saying is, come on over here and get some expertise, get some stuff. You're already part of this group. Let's take it to the next level. Let's have more of us in this group involved in creating these cash cows, involved in getting this education, because then we can begin to activate the Mastermind Alliance that is already part of this wonderful group of people, so that we can come up with ideas and we can do investments together. I know Jiz and I bounce ideas back and forth all the time. Matt, we all the time of what we're going to be able to do as we continue to grow our wealth, and how we're going to be able to take that wealth and continue to grow it in other places, how we're going to be able to impact people all over the world, all over our cities. What kind of changes can we do? What can we do for the kids? How can we make sure that the curse of generational illiteracy is broken? We talk about these things all the time, except we don't just talk about it. We're in the process of executing a long-term vision. We're in the process of being proactive rather than reactive. And what we're hoping for is that there's more of you who can unite with a long-term vision of financial literacy, who can say that, hey, listen, this is something our community has lacked, who can say that this is something I need in my own household. Hey, this is something I can teach my own children, my grandchildren. Hey, wouldn't it be nice if my 10-year-old knew how to trade, and she could take one trade a day, and we could start her with a $100 account, and we could teach her how to read an up and down arrow and 2 other indicators. And every day before she goes to school, she can make 1 trade, grow her account by 1%. And by the time she goes to college, her whole college is paid for, but more importantly, she paid for it herself. Because over 8 years, imagine how much that compounds. Imagine then, on top of that, now you have taught your child the skill set that they will now carry with them for the rest of their life. Just like you know how to ride a bike, but you haven't rode one in years. But if you had to ride one, you could. You have a skill set that you learned as a child that you will carry with you for the rest of your life. Why not give the children the skill set of money and multiplying money that they will carry with them for the rest of their life? And now she has the confidence to know that, hey, listen, no one sent me to college. I don't need a scholarship. I didn't have to do any of those other types of things. I could do this for myself. And so now as she goes into and becomes a young adult, and she begins to identify what it is that she really wants to do with her life, she no longer has to sit there and wait and beg someone, will you fund me? Will you give me money? Will you give me capital? She knows how to go get it herself. Imagine how powerful that would be for children all over the world, in our communities, not just here, throughout the diaspora, throughout the world. Imagine the impact. See, what we're doing and why we're so passionate, and why I keep giving you content, and why Jiz keeps giving you content, and why Matt keeps having these conversations, and it seems like we're banging you over the head. We're not banging you over the head. We're saying that this is important. And we hope that one of these conversations will connect with you. It's not just about building the academy. Yes, I'm not going to lie to you. Do I want to? It's right behind me. I want to go Chairman Elite. That's the top rank that you can hit on the network marketing side of our company. But the reason why I want to go Chairman Elite, the reason is because this company unites with my greater vision of teaching economic empowerment to my communities all over the world that I've been doing for over 20 years. And this seems to be the best vehicle that I have found where I can give the education and I can give everybody a fair shot to be able to use this, something that they might not have a lot of money, but everybody around the world has one of these. And so if they can then go in and they can be in Ghana, if they can be in Haiti, if they could be in Jamaica, if they could be here in the United States, and they could take a US dollar and they can begin to turn it into currency that they can use in their country. A US dollar in Haiti is powerful. A US dollar in Ghana is powerful right now. But then we could talk to them and we can educate them about what's going on with the Fed and what's going on with the dollar and how the dollar crisis is impacting them and why we're taking our dollars and investing some in silver. We could talk about the Fed, the creation and how it was created. Who are the families that created? We can go on and we can give them education on laws of success that they can use throughout. We can teach them how to build a business so that they can have a residual dollar, because a residual dollar is always stronger than an earned dollar. We can begin to do those things. We can have crypto conversations and we can talk to them about the fact that this is why XRP and Ripple is important. This is what this crypto does. This is how you can get in there. We could talk to them about getting a Nano Ledger X and how they can use that and they can actually become a walking bank. We could talk to them about all these different types of things. We could begin to give them the power to empower themselves to be able to do the things that are necessary in their communities. Now listen, you might not be uniting on that grand vision, and that's okay. But don't you want the power to do what's necessary for your own household? To give yourself even more opportunities. Some of y'all are living a great life. Congratulations. I'm excited for you. I really am. I truly am. But isn't it a great idea to just have more, to be able to do more, to experience more, to taste life even more than what you've currently been able to do? And that's what we're looking to put forward. So I hope this gave you some value. I just came on here, it was random. I just felt really bad today that I ended up missing that 10-minute tip time. I know that some of you guys watched that in this group, and I wanted to make sure that I came back and I said that I'm sorry, that I was unable to do that, but more importantly, that I was able to get you guys some information. And so what I want to do real quick is, as we're wrapping this up, right, we got 15 minutes before 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, or 10 p.m. Eastern. I know a lot of you guys are in Eastern Standard Time. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is I'm going to ask Jiz to post a flyer in the group for a young lady by the name of Anta Njai. Okay. Now Anta is what we call a Chairman 25. That means at bare minimum, she's impacted over 1,250 lives of financial education, 1,250 households to give them financial education around the world. Okay. She is highly successful. She is one of my favorite chairwomen in this company because she's young, she's brilliant. Matter of fact, if you saw that Michelle, I said Michelle, like I was gonna say Obama and Michelle together, Michelle Obama documentary that just came out, I believe it was called Becoming, I think is the name of it. But anyway, Anta is in that documentary with Michelle Obama. And so she is a tour de force powerhouse. I think she's like 22, 23 years old, just graduated from Spelman. Tonight in 15 minutes, she's doing what's called a chairman mentorship call, a midweek call where the chairman get on and they provide some kind of mentorship, they provide some kind of value. Now listen, this call is going to be so powerful. It doesn't matter if you ever want to do our business side of things. It doesn't matter if you ever want to trade. I am coming to you and I am telling you that I am excited. Someone who used to lecture, someone that colleges used to call me up to talk about entrepreneurship and economic empowerment and pay me up to $5,000 an hour to give a lecture, that I am excited to hear from this young lady. That's how powerful she is. When she goes on Instagram Live, literally hundreds of people tune in within seconds to hear the information that she's going to give out. Her heart to serve is huge. Her heart to serve is huge. She's helping people that aren't even in her organization, not even on her team. She's one of the biggest servant leaders that I've ever had the privilege to come across. And believe me, I have worked with a lot of people, including the famous activists that we all know from our past. And Anta Injai is something special. So I'm going to encourage you to get on the link. I believe it is I Am Academy Official. And I'm sure Jiz will post that in there. But I'm encouraging you guys to jump on that call. Take a second, spend an hour with Anta, and see if she doesn't impact your life in a positive way. And if she does, come back on this video and just say, yep, you were right. Give me a you were right. Give me a thumbs up. Drop me a GIF. Drop me something, because I am so excited that this is happening and this is coming up. And then after that, for those of you, if you really want to, at 11 o'clock, I will actually go on live and I will actually open up Matty Pip's Cash Trap as he is trading live in the market, so you can actually see maybe 10 or 15 minutes of a live session so that you understand exactly what we're doing and how it can impact your life. Okay? I hope I gave you some value. I hope that makes sense. I really appreciate your time. Y'all have a great one, Facebook. All right? Talk to you soon.